Well, I'm out today on the Blue Revolt, which has had a bit of an upgrade. And it is the August bank holiday weekend. And the weather is miserable, as usual. For those of you who aren't from Britain, a bank holiday is, as the name suggests, a day when the bank is closed. Always on a Monday. And it goes back to Victorian times when people had to work 6 days a week. The only reason they got a day off on Sunday was they could go to church. There's no annual leave or anything like that. Which, I have to say, a certain group of our political elite would like to go back to that situation where the working people knew their place. So usually what happens on a bank holiday weekend is people get in their car and sit in traffic and sneak out of work early on a Friday, sit in traffic for hours to get to where they're going, and then they spend 2 days in a caravan looking out the window at the rain. And then they spend all of Monday sitting in traffic trying to get home. If God does exist, he certainly doesn't like people having weekends away, because the weather is always bad on a bank holiday weekend. We've even got a severe weather warning for this weekend. But this video isn't about the weather, it's about upgrades. So let's get back to that. Now I know some of you will be saying, hang on a minute, aren't you a bit critical of people upgrading their bikes? And it's true, I have spoken about people who upgrade their bikes, or should I say, ask, what upgrades can I make, when they've ordered a bike and they haven't even seen it yet. But it's your bike, and if you want to upgrade it, that's up to you. Even if it is just for cosmetics, or even if it just gives you just a psychological advantage, that's fine. But for me, well, I've done 3,000 miles on this bike, so I'm pretty clear when something isn't working for me. And even then, it wasn't a quick decision. Giant do incredibly good value bikes. I paid less than £2,000 for this Advance 2. And there's nothing that even came close to it in terms of value. Carbon frame, 11-speed GRX. But on closer inspection, you can see that they've tried to save a bit of money here and there. And that's fine. I still think it's a good value bike. But one of the things they do save, or save on, is the chainset. But that's fine, the FSA chainset is not a bad set. And as I said, it's worked for 3,000 miles, but I did start to have problems. And I started having problems with getting the chain up and down off the big ring, and it was quite frustrating. You're trying to push on a bit, try and get it onto the big ring, and it just makes a noise, and yet stubbornly refuses to go up onto the big ring. So I took it into the shop and they fiddled with it, and one thing and another. And then it worked. And it worked quite well, except for one small problem. It quite often threw the chain off when you tried to drop it from the big ring to the small ring. But then I had a look and I noticed the clutch was off in the rear mech. And for some reason, that seemed to be the problem. Put the clutch back on and the chain stopped falling off. But that created another problem. And that was completely the opposite. Going up a hill, putting everything you've got into it, drop it onto the small ring, and nothing happens. And we're on a big climb and we've run out of gears, and it stayed on the top ring, on the big ring. So back to the bike shop, and they fiddled again. Anyway, to cut a long story short, eventually they said they think it's the chainset that's causing the problem, and that I should consider putting on a GRX chainset, because obviously it's all matched then and it all works together. And there were various other technical things that they told me, like the way the teeth are shaped, and I don't know. So I said I'd give it some thought. I wasn't sure how much it would cost, because I had the feeling that chain sets were really expensive. And a GRX chain set was about 150 quid. And of course, if you change the chain set, you need to change the bottom bracket. But I found an online retailer that had them for £75. And it's tempting. But my bike shop's been good to me. Felt I didn't really want to do the job myself. And I felt like they'd be pretty annoyed if I went in with a chainset I bought online and asked them to fit it. Anyway, after a bit of deliberation, I went down there and asked them what their price was going to be. But they did say to me that this particular retailer was the bane of their lives, because they dumped stock at below cost price. And anyway, they said they would try and get hold of Shimano and see if they could get me a good price. And then they phoned me to say that they could match that price. Well, I didn't hesitate then. I said, go on then, let's do it. So they put it all together for me. So I took the bike in and they sorted it all out. And I went back to get it. And he said he'd set it all up and it was working well. And as part of the job, he'd replaced the 2 gear cables because they were looking a bit corroded. And so they did the whole job for £125, which I felt was good value. And it just goes to show, it really is worth supporting your local bike shop. So, how's it all going, you might ask? Well, so far so good. It's working really well. It's working just the way it should. And that's all I could ask for. I wasn't expecting any performance upgrade or anything like that. Just for it to change whenever I wanted to.